All right, so the topic is from rejected to selected. I'm gonna start off with the definition. According to Cambridge Dictionary, rejection is the act of refusing to accept, use, or believe someone or something, or the act of not giving someone the love and attention they want and expect. There are plenty of ways one can be rejected, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's safe to say that we've all been rejected before some type of way. Rejection is never a fun experience. Most of the time, it's a humiliating and discouraging. It's never easy to hear, but rejection is a part of life. You're likely to experience it before, you're likely to experience it again. That's right. It's cliche to say, but sometimes being rejected is the best thing that can happen to you. Sometimes God allows you to be rejected because he either has better for you or because he wants better from you. All right. So, first thing that came to my mind when you think of being rejected was Cain and Abel. You had Adam and Eve. They came and they had Cain and Abel. They gave birth. Now Cain was he was a tiller of the ground, so he brought fruits, and Abel was a shepherd, so they came to give an offering to God. And Cain gave his offering, and God wasn't really messing with it like that. He didn't really like his. But Abel, he loved Abel's. That was like the first time you really seen someone be rejected in the Bible, because Cain gave an offering to God, and God didn't like it. That's right. So Genesis 4:4-7 says, and Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof, and the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted, and if thou doest not well, sin abide at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So God was trying to explain to Cain that the reason why he rejected him, the reason why he didn't accept his offer was because he felt like Cain wasn't giving his best. He felt like he could do better. There was room to improve. We've all been there before. I ain't gonna say a lot of y'all. Just like everything I do, I feel like I'm the best at, and I've been humbled in just like every aspect as well. As humans, when you feel like you're giving your all to something, you're gonna automatically feel like you're doing the best. You feel like there is no room for improvement. But it's humbling when you face reality. Cain faced reality. That was more than he could do. He had room to improve. Now, Cain could have did the right thing. He could have been like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get a better offering to God. That way he can accept me. Cain did not do that. He took his anger out on Abel. He went and he killed Abel, his brother, over jealousy because God accepted his offering, but not his. As Christians, it always hurts to feel that God is displeased with you. But you have to understand that God is love and he knows best for you. You have to trust that when God's telling you that you're falling short, he's waiting for you to improve, not leaving you behind. We all know Cain reacted by being denied by God. He killed his brother. Now, I'm going to assume that none of us kill people. I'm making that assumption. Don't feel the need to correct me. But we all can have a little Cain in us, where if we see someone is doing well and we're not, we seem to be more upset with them and not ourselves. We don't look into ourselves and see, well, this person got this blessing. What they do? What they do to deserve that? Instead of, how come God don't seem to see want to bless me in this aspect? We always look at the other person. I'm telling you, that's not the right way to go about it. If you want to go from being rejected to selected, the first step is to accept rejection. It's to accept that, hey, that's what we can't destroy the world around us because we're being denied access of a blessing we feel entitled to. We can't take our anger out on others. Remember, God is waiting for you to improve. He's not leaving you behind. If we're going from rejected to selected, we got to start by looking to God during disappointing times so he can turn our nose into a yes. So that's something to take from Cain's story is we all fall short. We all fall short. And whenever we fall short and we see someone who isn't, that's not the time for us to look at the person, but to look at ourselves. What can we do? When God calls the door, you have to ask yourself, does God want me to close this door? What am I doing that's allowing me to not, that's to block me from going into this door. Yeah. Look at yourselves, and you can turn that no into a yes. Now, at the end of the day, if God wants you to do anything, he's God, he can't do nothing. So we gonna move past God rejecting because he God. Now, while we know God will sometimes allow certain doors to be closed, there's also people who try to deny against you. But I'm here to tell you tonight that if God selects you, it doesn't matter who rejects you. You go from being rejected to selected. Now this is a bit more fitting because this is how we usually see it. This is how we usually experience rejection. Numbers 23:19 said, God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Has he said it, he shall not do it. Has he spoken, he shall not make it good. 20 said, behold, I seek commandment to bless. He is blessed and I can never reverse it. When God say he got something for you, when God is selecting you, that's nothing nobody on the planet. Your mama can't tell you to do it. Your daddy can't tell you to do it. Your brothers, siblings, your co-workers, your friends, your enemies, nobody can stop you from doing what God has for you. Now, we're going to talk about Joseph. Now, we know Joseph was the last of his brothers for Benjamin, and Jacob really favored him because he came from Rachel. And we know that Joseph began to have dreams. He used to have dreams how he would be over his family, how they would bow to him, and his flock would be over their flock. And when he went and told his family about this, they immediately was just like, what you trying to say? They just couldn't, the ideal of Joseph, the youngest, being over them, it just didn't see fathom. Even to the point that even his dad rebuked him for a dream. Now, we all know that was God's calling for Joseph. Now, when you look at how Abel was treated, you see that Joseph's brother did similar to the same. They didn't necessarily kill him, but they feel like they was going to do what they had to do to stop him from being over them. So what they do? They sold him to slavery. And we know he went through trials and tribulations. He had some ups, he had some downs, and it came to the point where the Pharaoh needed a dream interpreted. Joseph was the guy for that. He interpreted the dream, he told him about the famine, they prepared for the famine. Years later, his brothers are coming to Egypt. And now they need something from Egypt. They don't know. They say they need something from Egypt, but they really need something from Joseph. So they have to come to Joseph and humble themselves. They come back, and when they realize that Joseph, he didn't die because of slavery, he was actually over Egypt, second in command, they had no choice but to bow down. It's kind of like the dream that God showed Joseph all them years ago. They had to apologize because they was in the wrong for trying to stop him from doing what God called him to do. Genesis 5:20 says, whereas for you thought evil against me, but God turns it good to bring it past as it is his day to save his people alive. So when you come from being rejected to selected, it all ties back to patience. When you're rejected by the world, can you stay with God long enough to be selected by him? Joseph went through so much in Egypt that most people would have gave up. Most people would have gave up if he was in Joseph's shoes. But he stood by God, and God turned around for him. Are you willing to step aside and allow God to get you into the door that he has for you? So Joseph could have saw that dream and said, I'm going to start taking to do whatever I need to do to be in charge. He didn't do that. Even though he went through some trials and tribulations, God was still able to make him be exactly what he called him to be. And that's the best part about Joseph's story, is when it was all said and done, after everything he'd been through, it was right back where God left him, back to that dream and being over his family. And there's one thing I want y'all to take from my message is God does not skip a beat. Yeah. Whenever you feel like God is calling you and people try to tear you down, and people gonna try to tear you down. People gonna try to make you feel like you ain't good enough to do something. You want to start a business. You gonna start a business? Oh, I want to do this for the church. You want to do that for the church? They're gonna try to make you feel like you can't do it. But what God has for you, nobody can take from you. God doesn't skip a beat. And when God comes back, and he comes back and blesses people, he don't give you a replacement because what they stopped you from doing. God doesn't have no alternative plans. He doesn't have no alternative routes. God can give you right exactly what he has for you. He don't skip a beat. We started right where we left off. But just like Joseph, just like when you have like a kid, when you get home, you have to get through the door. sometimes, your parents, they have to unlock the door. You got to sit there and wait for the parents to unlock the door for you. Are you patient enough to allow God to unlock the door for you? Everything else, I don't know your calling. I don't know what God has in store for you. But my question is, are you willing to wait to see what God has for you? And even when it feels like He ain't there, even when it feels like it's a no, are you willing to wait for it to turn into a yes? If God is for you, no one can be against you. What God has for you, no one can take from you. No one can deny from you. No one can reject.
That's right.